Injury news, please, if there's any?
Injury news, any. We're making real progress now, so hopefully Jan Matt will play in the under-23s next week, and that means that everybody's sort of more or less available for selection at some point. Yeah, I mean, we've had a very positive week. We've had Sarr and Kiko back in full training, which is good. But I suppose now, before the final selection for the weekend's game, the conversations will be about managing risk, because I want them back to stay back. So there's always I have to detach myself somewhat from the emotional side of let's get these players straight back in. It's really about making decisions now which protect us over the longer term.
First season we've seen this kind of mid-season break introduced. How was it from a managerial perspective?
Short.
Did you get players back, or did you use it constructively?
It was just like having in the old days having a week off because the pitches were frozen. Opportunity to give the players a bit of a break after a very hectic period, as Christmas and New Year always is. But in terms of it being a meaningful mid-season break, I just take it for what it is. It's one weekend that you're not playing, but that's really all it is. Sometimes I suppose for teams who are winning week after week, they probably don't want it to be there. For other sides, it's a chance to do some more work on the training field, or just to give the players a bit of time. So we just use it for what it is. I've got no massive views on it, to be honest with you.
You mentioned work on the training pitch.
Yeah.
Obviously the problem with conceding goals from winning positions, is that something you can work on the training pitch, or is that just like a concentration issue?
Might be a bit of both. I tend to look at things with a slightly different view, and that is that when we're in good positions in games, and when we've come out the other side with a positive result, I'll still reflect on the moments where we've had some good fortune as well. I'm not somebody who overly looks at our situation at the moment, where we've given away points with late goals. I'm realistic. The one game which was very frustrating for us was the Everton one. The Villa situation was very unlucky. You know, we are, and the Brighton own goal is something that happens. I'm not going to get myself into a situation where my mindset changes about how I see in general what the players have brought to the field. I know that we get honest performances. We'll sometimes have situations that things don't work how we want them to, but every day when we go out in the training field, I know that the players work hard, apply themselves properly, and they do that in games. So we just have to make sure that we continue to work in the manner that we are, and that is to be committed to getting ourselves into a much better position.
You mentioned the break though there. Man United had two quite big games, particularly away to Chelsea, while you've been out of action. Do you expect that to have a difference on the day? Is that maybe a slight advantage you could take?
I don't know. I can't give you honest. All I can say is that the preparation that we have is about our players. I've got no control over what our opponents do. Yeah, they've been playing games. Played again last night. Made changes. We know that we've got to be at our best. Obviously, we beat them at our place with a decent performance, but we also had moments in the game where things did go our way. So again, you've got to be pragmatic about it. I think when you play against the big sides, the really big sides, you know that, or we know before we start that our organisation, our collective mentality has to be very, very visible, and that, like it is in any game, then the individuals need to be able to bring moments of quality to the game, and it will be no different. I look forward to these games, and I know the players are really looking forward to the game as well. So we've, like I've already said, it's about going out there and getting the performance as near to our maximum as possible, because we'll need to.
You mentioned just in the game before Christmas,
Yeah.
how much different you expect this game to be? Because that game where you played well, you said, it was probably recent enough for you to have be able to take something from it, isn't it?
Yeah. I look at the players, and I look at how we are on a daily basis. It's not necessarily about spending too much time looking at things that have already been and gone. We know, okay, so what's positive that can be gained out of that is we know that we've beaten them this season, which is good. But I mean, whether that has any bearing on the game that's coming up, we'll see. But firstly, it's about us being able to hit a level of performance which is good enough for us to cause them problems. You know, we've got individuals within our squad who are very, very capable in terms of how we play in an offensive manner. But as always, the collective is the most important thing. So, every team that plays a game has got a chance. It's difficult to evaluate always how realistic a chance of winning a game is, but we need to win games. And so what I want is a committed performance where we show every intent of trying to win the game. Outside of that, my influence and our influence on Man United is what it is. You know, we've got to take care of us first, because you've already asked me a couple of questions about losing points from winning positions, and we've been responsible for that ourselves, and also the teams that we've played against have worked hard to put us in those situations. So, you know, there's a bit of a combination there, but for me, it's always about looking at us, concentrating very much on what we can affect, and that is us. And outside of that, we'll see what happens on the day.
I've got this right. I think you said earlier in the week that keeping Watford up this season would surpass what you did at Leicester in 2015.
I didn't say that this week.
No, when was that? Recently?
I can't remember actually using those exact words, but I think I was asked a question and I don't normally fall for those sorts of questions, being asked a type of statement which, if you nod to, then it will be. I'm not getting ahead of myself. Every situation that I've been in, both as a player, coach, manager, head coach, whatever it is, the circumstances are different. Very difficult to compare one against another. I think the context of a question like that and an answer like mine would be that when you inherit a side and you come into a club in a very difficult situation, and there are a lot of unknowns, I think it's fair to say that there's potentially have less control or less influence, and it's difficult to very quickly get a understanding of the overall situation. And on top of that, you need to get enough results. So every situation is very different. The Leicester season 14-15 was an incredible turnaround, but we were a side that had been being built over a number of years, and there was an identity which was very real within the club. So I'm not suggesting that's not the case here. What I'm saying is it's different, and so I understand when people want to ask these types of questions, but to see it from my perspective is different, and that is that, one of the big factors is firstly you've got to recognise that things are different. You know, I'm not a believer in saying that worked there, let's just move it somewhere else and do the same things. If you work like that, you've got no chance. It's about adapting to what's required. It's about trying to understand what's actually going on within a club. And as well, trying to keep focused on what's really important, and that is for us as staff and players is concentrating on getting our preparation right for every game, because you know the Premier League is such a huge brand, and the interest within your field of work is huge, and I think it's very easy to get sidetracked. So we've got to try and remain focused and realistic and understand what we're about first and foremost.
Just ask finally from me what you made of Arsene Wenger's proposal this week to make a slight tweak to the offside rule, particularly where VAR is concerned. Would it solve one or two problems from your perspective, or? I think just with any technology that's introduced into the game, I think it's important that we reflect on the implications of how it's utilised, how it's enforced, and whenever you've got somebody of Arsene Wenger's standing in the game, making observations which I think are for the good of the game. I think when the season comes to an end, that there are enough people with knowledge discussing what would be the best changes for the game. And it's as simple as that, really. I think technology is good to try and help the officials to make as many good calls as possible, but I think whenever there are new introductions, I don't think it's surprised anybody really that we're going to have the types of discussions that we're having. But yeah, moving forward, I'm sure improvements will be made which help everybody. Did you agree with him though? Do you think he might have a point? I think there is. Yeah, there's some. I think there is a value to the argument of saying there's got to be a better threshold, if you like, more realistic one. Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
Becky Rice from Premier League. Just a question, what for you personally is this one? You could become the fourth English manager to complete the double over Manchester United in a Premier League season this weekend. Do sort of statements like that little club, does that motivate you, or do you not give any energy to that sort of stat?
What's my face saying? Look, winning games is important, and if you know, so it's really as simple as that. We're going to try and go into this game to win it. Those types of facts, statistics, do they motivate me? Not particularly, if I'm honest. What motivates me is trying to help the football club to get ourselves out of the situation that we're in. Now, clearly we need to win games to do that. So it'd be great to do it, but it's not a driver for me. Those types of potential statistics, so to speak. We are realistic about the situation that we're in. We are aware that we, as a club, need to start getting back to winning ways. Our next two fixtures on the face of it are very, very difficult, but they are great fixtures for us as well. And I think they're the types of games that every player should look forward to playing, and every manager or coach should look forward to being involved in. So that's really the top and bottom of it for me.
Hey you, click here for more videos.